Well, hello, CCA faculty. This is Rennie here to talk to you about the MBTI that we will be going over during our professional development when we all return. As I shared with you during our last faculty meeting, I first learned about the MBTI when I was a student at Mississippi State, and it really helped me understand a lot about myself and other people. And I came to learn more about it when I worked at Hines Community College with the Dean of Students and co-taught the leadership class with her. We used it with students there, and I learned so much from it that I took what I learned there and applied that as the executive director of Life Choices and used it with board and staff development. And so it just made sense after I retired from there to go ahead and get certified in the MBTI. While I was going through that certification process up in Chicago in September, I kept thinking about how great it would have been for me to learn about preferences and personality type when I was younger, and even in middle school, how helpful it would have been just to understand a little bit about myself and the differences between me and some of my peers and some of the difficulties that I faced as a young person. And so I asked, how old do you have to be to take the MBTI? And learned that you really need to be about 18. But there is another instrument, the MTIC, that is offered for 7 to 18-year-olds. And so after I got home, I went ahead and got certified in that as well, which is an online process. Upon learning that there is nobody, to my knowledge, that is doing the either instrument around here, I went ahead and started my own consulting company, Insight for Growth, which empowers individuals and organizations to reach their potential. And so that lets you all know that you actually are my first group to take through as an organization this training. So at the end of this training, you will be able to identify and assess your innate preferences and appreciate the innate preferences of others, including children, and identify your unique opportunities for growth. You'll also be able to identify ways to use the differences between yourself and other types constructively. To achieve these objectives, we will be using both the MBTI and the Murphy-Meiskeier. The agenda in the morning will have about 2 hours, and we will be going over your results of taking the MBTI. We'll be discussing the meaning of preferences, some different definitions, and we'll go over your results and verification. I do want to encourage you, some of you may be tempted to go online and look at some other instruments that are similar to the MBTI. There are even some that if you did a search for the MBTI that you would find. And one of the things that I want to make sure I inform you about is that the MBTI has years and years of scientific research to back it up for validity and reliability. And I want to caution you that because of the years of scientific research that has gone into it, the materials and the instruments are costly. They have been donated to CCA. It is a psychological assessment. So the things that you see online that are free, I would just caution you that before trusting the results of any of those assessments, you want to make sure the appropriate research has been done to show the results to be valid and reliable. I have done a search myself through some of those, and I have not been able to find reliable and valid research on any of the free ones. So I just want to caution you to look for that before you take any of those free ones, because the results that you get may not be valid or reliable. in the afternoon, after we do the MBTI with you all, we'll be talking about the MTIC and the implications for our students and how that will impact how they approach learning, their study habits, relationships, both with each other as well as with you as teachers and their parents. It will also, we'll discuss the implications for you as teachers with your type and how you interact with different students. Now, the MBTI and the MTIC are not personality tests. Sometimes I will slip up and call it a test, but it is not a test. It is an instrument. And the reason we want to make that distinction clear is a test gives the idea that you can fail. Well, you cannot fail the MBTI or MTIC. It looks only at normal behavior. There are 93 forced choice questions, so you'll have to pick one or the other. Now, if there is a question that you really can't decide between one or the other, you're really 50-50, then leave it blank. Now, if you leave too many blank, it's going to throw out your test, not your test, your instrument. But if you're like 51 or 49, one or the other, then go ahead with the one that you feel most strongly. Now, you need to answer these questions in the way, not that you think you should answer them, but the way that you really are. Not the way that you think, well, as a teacher or as a staff member, this would make me a better staff member, but how you really are, what takes the least amount of energy. All types have potential strengths and possible stretches. Your results are confidential. I'm not going to be sharing these with Miss Emily. They will only go to you. It is up to you whether or not you share them with anyone else. So it will take you about 10 minutes to complete the assessment, maybe 15 if you overthink or if you go back and forth with some answers. You will be given your results when you come for professional development on January the 4th. Have fun and Merry Christmas.